Hello, everyone. Welcome to TD Board Gamers. My name is Dave.
And I'm Dirk.
And today we're going to do Dirk's top 20 basic supports.
I didn't do 20. I could have. I
Well,
did. Whenever I first started this list, I actually think my original count, I had cleared 20 and I had to put some back because, yeah.
okay.
Dave said top five, so I
Yes.
got as close as I could.
Which means it's probably 17.
It's a 10-ish.
All right. Well, anyways, okay. So is it top 10? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, that's what we're saying. We're going to say top 10.
Okay. And how many honorable mentions?
A couple.
Okay. All
Speaking
right. Well, anyway, so then
of, so we are going to
Dirk's
start
top 10
10-ish.
ish basic.
All right. So we're going to start with my first honorable mention. So see, there's more than one. I can make this a top 10.
Probably 20, and he didn't want to call it that.
It's top 10, but maybe 10 honorable mentions or something. I don't know. We'll see. So this one is the government liaison. So it's simple two-cost support, but the great thing about it is you can exhaust it and you can play a shield card from your hand, reducing its cost by one. So if you are playing anything shield centric, or even that, if you've got a few extra shield cards, even if it's not a shield centric deck, you've got a few extra shield cards that you'd like to be able to get out there. This one's great. If this one could be done in hero or alter ego, it would probably make my top 10. The fact that you do have to be a hero to use this one, and it did lower it just a little bit, just bumped it outside of the top 10, but I did think it was definitely worth a mention here. So yeah, because cost reduction is always a fun thing. All right. Uh, my second honorable mention is actually a pair of cards that whenever I tend to play one, I tend to play the other one right along with it. Is we've got Leo Fitz and Jimmy Simmons, or as any fan of the comics and or the Agents of Shield TV show, we call them Fitzsimmons because they go together. But both of them are three cost Shield persona supports, but they do different things, but they synchronize really well together because Leo, of course, and both of them is if you're playing a Shield character, they're cheaper to play. They're going to reduce your cost by two, so that's phenomenal. But if you're not playing Shield, then you really got to think about whether they're worth the cost at that point in time. Although there are some builds that definitely are worth it. But Leo he can search your deck for a tech card and add it to your hand, and Gemma can exhaust to generate a mental resource to pay for a tech card. So with two of them, Leo gets your tech card for you. Gemma pays it for free. If you're playing Shield, you can play each of them for one. So if you're playing Shield and you're using even a few techs, they're a really great add to that. If you're not, like I said, they're a little bit more expensive because their price jumps substantially if you're not playing a Shield character, but they could definitely still be worth it, especially like Iron Man. Iron Man loves them. But anybody else, or protection, they're great for protection decks too because protection has a lot of tech as well. So those are my honorable mentions.
Oh, I was going to say, I was waiting to see if it was going to be a top 5 honorable mentions.
Nope, there's just the two honorable mentions. So we're going to get into the top 10 proper. So number 10, this one, even though it is um, situational because it does require anybody can play it, but the use can only be gained by an X-Men character or a player whose identity has the X-Men trait. And so far, X-Men are only heroes. There are no X-Men traded character or there are no X-Men traded players with alter ego. No X-Men in alter ego because they're all mutants instead. So it does have to be a character that a hero that's an X-Men to be able to use it. Anybody can play it, but it has to get them the resource. I have actually put this in a deck when I was not playing an X-Men, so that I could give an X-Men player a resource because their hand was or their deck was large enough that they didn't really have the spot for it, and I had room for it. So I have done that, but generally I'm using it if I'm an X-Men is the way I tend to use that. But it does give that wild resource. That way, even though it can be very situational, it still makes the top 10 because it gives you that wild resource.
Yeah. So I really like this when you say if you're doing 3 or 4 players and everyone's an X-Men.
Oh yeah, that is phenomenal.
Because
Yeah.
it's like
Anybody can use
it's
it.
a twin carrier that anyone can use.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually better than the Quinn carrier in that case for everybody because
Yeah.
you can give it to anybody. It's not restricted to just to just you, and it gives a wild, so that's even better than the helicarrier
Yeah.
in that case. But does require X-Men. All right, so my number 9 is the Avenger Compound. Again, this is also a situational one. However, if you've seen some of my previous top 5-ish videos, you'll know that I don't consider the Avenger trading or requiring Avenger trading to be that big of a downside, because there are more Avenger characters than any other. I think that's the highest team keyword out there, as far as I know. We might actually have more. I'd have to count it up. We might potentially have more Avengers than we do everything else combined. If not, I think it's going to be fairly close. There's a lot of Avengers though.
Yeah.
So I don't see this one being super restrictive. But you do have to be an Avenger to play it. But you can exhaust it. You can tuck an ally from your hand here and save them to play at a later time. That's why I like that. So, I mean, you can only have one ally under here at a time. So if you've got an ally under here, you do have to actually play them before you can put another ally under it. But it allows you to say you've got somebody, they've got a great use, but situationally it's not going to help you a lot right now. And one of the best examples I could think of with this right now, Sunfire. Sunfire is a great example. His comes into playability is phenomenal in the right situation. So if you know if you've seen what you're going to play, the fact that you might have attachments on that villain that you're going to need to get rid of later. That's a good way to do it. You put him under there, and whenever those come up, then you play it. So yeah, I love that. Love that, being able to just play something when you need it. All right, so my number 8, another situational one here. This one's Moira McTaggart. So she does require you to be, you do have to be a mutant to be able to play her. And it also only helps mutants. So, but it's not just X-Men. You can also be X-Force, or if we happen to see other mutant classes or teams come up later, they could potentially come up with more. I'm trying to think right now.
That's all we got right now.
Yeah, that's all we've got right
We
now.
ever get an X Factor wave?
Yeah, we could potentially see more, but yeah, we haven't seen him yet. But I love it's great because whenever a mutant flips over into hero form, then you can exhaust her and they can draw a card. So this not only helps you, but especially similar to the X-Jet, if there are multiple mutants in the game, they can all utilize this one. And the fact that it doesn't limit it to just X-Men in this case, it's a little bit more useful, I think, than the X-Jet can be. So, or not necessarily more useful, but less situational. So she made it a little bit higher on the list. All right. Then number 7 is the Avenger Mansion. The Avenger Mansion, just because the sheer cost of this one got bumped down a little bit on the list from where, but I did debate moving this a little bit higher because I do think the usefulness of it is really phenomenal. And the fact that it's a basic, so anybody can play it. You're not required to be an Avenger, which kind of surprised me because it's right in the name. But no, this one you can exhaust it.
They have an open door policy.
Yeah, you can exhaust it, choose a player. That player gets to draw a card. Card advantage. Any card game, I think card advantage is a phenomenal thing. This one is no exception. And so this way, it's just card draw on a stick, basically. Once you do have to, that little hurdle that you have to pay so much to get it out there. But once you get it out there, yeah, it's great. So if you're needing a card for a resource, you can draw it with this. If you need a card, if you're looking for a specific card, you just increase your chance of being able to see that card because you get an extra card that turn. So great card, love it. All right. That was my number 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 7. Number 6. So number 6 is the Quinn Carrier. So this is the, similar to the X-Jet. This one is also, requires an Avenger to play instead. So it definitely made it quite a bit higher up on the list just because of that fact. But it does something very similar that you can exhaust this to generate a wild resource. The fact that you can only do this for yourself is why it is down as far on the list as it is. Because, like I said a little earlier, the fact that it requires you to have the Avenger trait, I don't feel being a huge drawback because, so many of these specialty resource cards like this do require it. And this is probably one of the easier ones to fulfill. But yeah, great card, wild resource for 3. So resource on a stick.
I agree with Hawkeye. Too bad we could only get one of these.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, everybody would love to have one of those. All right, we've actually we've had debates before the game on who's going to get this card. All right, so then number five is team building exercise. So this is one that now we're getting into the ones that these tend to make. Up to this point, they didn't necessarily make every deck I'm in. Team building exercise makes just about every deck I'm in. This is probably the one that right on the cusp. Depending on what I'm playing, if I don't have a team, if I don't have a team keyword on my hero that because it is a hero action, so it doesn't matter what your alter ego is. But if I don't have something that synergizes well, it might not make it. But in most cases, I'm going to have at least a few cards because a lot of times there are cards in your hero kit that are going to match a trait that you share. There's a real good chance this is going in my deck. It goes in probably at least 95% of my decks. But yeah, it allows you to just reduce the cost of a card that you play that shares a trait. So yeah, I love this card. Great one. So it is my number somewhere in there. Five.
Yeah, Hercules is a great example because there's most of his kit cards are Olympic traded.
Yeah. All right. So my number four. My number four is actually front organization. Now this one I've seen some people are like they don't really see necessarily the point in this one, but this one to me I absolutely love this card because it's great because if you have something out there that is going to hurt you to lose, a card that is very important to your kit, because there are a lot of villain cards that cause you to discard a card that you control.
Well, in almost every game, you're going to see caught off guard.
Yeah, so I mean,
that's in the standard set.
So. Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of things that can cause you to get rid of a card that's going to be very impactful and hurtful if you lose this. So just the fact that for a zero cost, you can save a card from going away. This is probably one of my favorite insurance policies in the game. This makes it into most of my decks, regardless of who I'm playing. It's very rare that I'm not going to use this card. All right. So my number three is we actually have a special guest appearance. We have a pool card.
That's an upgrade.
That is an upgrade, but how does this upgrade make it on the list? Because of this card right here. Anytime I am playing the pool, this is the one pool support that I've got here is the plot convenience. Because I think the healing factor is my favorite pool card, and I want to be able to share my favorite card with everybody else out on the table. So if I'm playing pool, I'm throwing in a plot convenience, and there's going to be a healing factor for every character up to 2 in the game because I'm taking one of them. But every other
up to 2 others.
That's what I'm saying. Every other character up to 2 because I'm taking one. So two of my allies, if I'm playing a 4-player game, are going to have a chance to get their own healing factor. I'm going to put it out there for them. All they got to do is grab it and pay for it.
Sorry, Eric, you're out of luck.
Yeah. Hey, it's first come, first serve. I'll put it out there. You guys fight over it. But yeah, no. So this one, I did decide to go ahead and slip this into the basic because I did want to make sure that I got this one out there because I absolutely love this card. And flavorfully, it's a phenomenal card as well because I love how it breaks the rules. But no, it's great because I can share these healing factors, which is my favorite pool card, with the other members of my team. So this one definitely makes one of my top 10 spots. But this one's my number 3. All right, so my number 2 is the classic helicarrier. So this one been around since the base game. And I think it's gone into almost every deck I've ever built. There's been a couple of decks that I just haven't had the room for it. I've wanted to try to get something else in there, but almost every deck I have because this is such a useful card because it helps you out. It helps out your other players if you're in a multiplayer game. So it's actually, I think, more useful if you're in a multiplayer game because if you don't need it, somebody else can get the advantage of it. So this one, I've used it since the beginning. Love this card. But it does actually slip to my number 2 spot because my number 1 spot is the iPad. Now, I understand you do have to have the X-Force trait to play this. And that sounds like a major drawback. And I don't normally put cards that have a drawback at the top of my list. Not something that have a stipulation like that. But what this card does is so phenomenal is, you can exhaust it, deal yourself face down, and counter card. You get to draw 2 cards. So I love card advantage. This one gives you 2. You can use this every turn. Yes, you have to deal with the encounter card. What in most cases now, yeah, okay, Venom Goblin, I really might not. I might never play this one if I've got Venom Goblin out there, but just about anything else, there's very few cases where I'm not gonna think it's worth it. And plus, I can actually, somebody else can use it if I don't have a need for it. My hand is perfect or whatever. I can still allow one of my other players to use it, because you choose a player, and they're going to do that. And of course, I'm not going to force it on somebody else. Like, hey, do you want to draw a couple of cards? You're going to have to deal with an encounter card, but people rarely turn me down either, because they realize that's a good trade-off in most cases.
So
this is my number 1.
Apparently, Dirk only plays 6 heroes, and because you have to be X-Force.
You can cheat this baby out right there. This card right here, it allows you to put it into play, which gets past this. So yes, I love this. I don't put this in every deck. It is rare for me not to put it, but I don't put it in every deck. But it is my absolute favorite support card in the game, is the iPack. And I am going to try to fit this into most of my decks, unless somebody else is playing it, of course. If somebody else is playing it, I'm not going to fight them for it. They can have it. But if there's nobody else playing it, I'm going to try to fit this into my deck. I've dropped other cards just to put this one in. I love this so much. And it does take up 2 card slots for me to do this if I'm not playing an X-Force character. It's worth it to me. I love this card that much.
All right.
In fact, honestly, I think outside of there's one card, Maria's number 1. I don't know, this one, that might be, this either 2 or 3.
You like specialized training, I know.
Yeah, I do like specialized training. I do use specialized training a lot, but specialized training I'm less frequent. There's less likelihood for me to use it with a smaller player count. This one, I don't care what player count is. I play solo. I'll play this card.
All right. Well, anyways, so that concludes our
I think it's my number 2 card.
Top question mark supports for the different aspects. If you've seen this series, it's not been top 5 for each.
Yeah, Dave tries to tell me 5. I don't know.
Yeah.
In one ear, out the other. It's gone. I don't listen.
Yeah. So next will be top 5 upgrades. We'll see if he keeps with that.
I could probably do that. I could probably do that in most.
All right.
Well, I might struggle on a couple of colors.
Like pool. All right. Well, thank you for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe.
And if you want to see more content by us, go ahead and hit that notification bell down there, and you'll get alerts from every post of videos. All right, see you.